Every man's life ends the same way. It is only the details of how he lived and how he died that distinguish one man from another. There is no hunting like the hunting of man, and those who have hunted armed men long enough and liked it, never care for anything else thereafter. But man is not made for defeat. A man can be destroyed but not defeated. The world breaks everyone, and afterward, some are strong at the broken places. There is no lonelier man in death, except the suicide, than that man who has lived many years with a good wife and then outlived her. If two people love each other, there can be no happy end to it. Always do sober what you said you'd do drunk. That will teach you to keep your mouth shut. There is nothing to writing. All you do is sit down at a typewriter and bleed. I love sleep. My life has the tendency to fall apart when I'm awake, you know. The best way to find out if you can trust somebody is to trust them. When you go to war as a boy, you have a great illusion of immortality. Other people get killed, not you. Then, when you are badly wounded the first time, you lose that illusion, and you know it can happen to you. I like to listen. I have learned a great deal from listening carefully. Most people never listen. An intelligent man is sometimes forced to be drunk to spend time with his fools. Happiness in intelligent people is the rarest thing I know. Never go on trips with anyone you do not love. There is no friend as loyal as a book. Never mistake motion for action. In modern war, you will die like a dog for no good reason. We are all apprentices in a craft where no one ever becomes a master. The world is a fine place and worth the fighting for, and I hate very much to leave it. When people talk, listen completely. Most people never listen. Time is the least thing we have of. They wrote in the old days that it is sweet and fitting to die for one's country. But in modern war, there is nothing sweet nor fitting in your dying. You will die like a dog for no good reason. The only thing that could spoil a day was people. People were always the limiters of happiness, except for the very few that were as good as spring itself. If you have a success, you have it for the wrong reasons. If you become popular, it is always because of the worst aspects of your work. I love to go to the zoo. But not on Sunday. I don't like to see the people making fun of the animals, when it should be the other way around. What is moral is what you feel good after, and what is immoral is what you feel bad after. I learned never to empty the well of my writing, but always to stop when there was still something there in the deep part of the well, and let it refill at night from the springs that fed it. If you are lucky enough to have lived in Paris as a young man, then wherever you go for the rest of your life it stays with you, for Paris is a movable feast. I wake up in the morning and my mind starts making sentences, and I have to get rid of them fast. Talk them or write them down. Cowardice is almost always simply a lack of ability to suspend functioning of the imagination. About morals, I know only that what is moral is what you feel good after, and what is immoral is what you feel bad after. When you have shot one bird flying, you have shot all birds flying. They are all different and they fly in different ways, but the sensation is the same, and the last one is as good as the first. There is no rule on how to write. Sometimes it comes easily and perfectly. Sometimes it's like drilling rock and then blasting it out with charges. For a true writer, each book should be a new beginning where he tries again for something that is beyond attainment. He should always try for something that has never been done or that others have tried and failed. Then sometimes, with great luck, he will succeed. You can wipe out your opponents. But if you do it unjustly, you become eligible for being wiped out yourself. Somebody just back of you while you are fishing is as bad as someone looking over your shoulder while you write a letter to your girl. No weapon has ever settled a moral problem. It can impose a solution, but it cannot guarantee it to be a just one. That terrible mood of depression of whether it's any good or not is what is known as the artist's reward. Decadence is a difficult word to use since it has become little more than a term of abuse applied by critics to anything they do not yet understand or which seems to differ from their moral concepts. All my life I've looked at words as though I were seeing them for the first time. For whom the bell tolls was a problem which I carried on each day. I knew what was going to happen in principle, but I invented what happened each day I wrote. A man's got to take a lot of punishment to write a really funny book. You can write any time people will leave you alone and not interrupt you. Or, rather, you can if you will be ruthless enough about it. But the best writing is certainly when you are in love. The good parts of a book may be only something a writer is lucky enough to overhear, or it may be the wreck of his whole damn life and one is as good as the other. When I am working on a book or a story, I write every morning as soon after first light as possible. There is no one to disturb you, and it is cool or cold, and you come to your work and warm as you write. After you finish a book, you know, you're dead. But no one knows you're dead. All they see is the irresponsibility that comes in after the terrible responsibility of writing. For a war to be just 3 conditions are necessary: public authority, just cause, right motive.